I want you to think about someone. Just one person. Someone who's been around you, maybe not too obvious, but always there. Now let me ask you something. What if I told you that this person has been in love with you for a long time and you didn't even notice? Sounds crazy? Maybe, but human emotions are rarely loud. In fact, the deepest feelings are often the most hidden ones. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to recognize them. Because once you see these signs, you won't be able to unsee them. Before we dive deeper, a quick message. If you've been learning from my videos and you want to support this work, you can subscribe to me on Facebook with a paid membership, send stars, or join my YouTube channel's paid community. Your support helps me create more powerful content for you, and I truly appreciate every bit of it. All right, now let's continue. Here's the first thing you need to understand. When someone truly loves you, but hides it, they don't act normal around you. They try to, but something always slips. You'll notice it in small things. The way they look at you for just a second longer than necessary. The way their energy shifts when you enter the room. It's subtle, but it's there. And here's where it gets interesting. They often act confusing. One moment they're warm, the next moment they're distant. And you think, why are they so inconsistent? But it's not inconsistency. It's internal conflict. Because part of them wants to get closer, and the other part is afraid of what that might mean. Now think about this. Have you ever had someone who remembers the smallest details about you? Things you mentioned casually, weeks or even months ago. That's not normal attention. That's emotional investment. Because when someone loves you, your words don't just pass through them, they stay. And here's another sign people ignore. They react differently when you talk about someone else. Not always in an obvious jealous way, but something changes. Their tone, their expressions, their energy. It's like they're trying to stay calm, but something inside them tightens. Why? Because hearing you talk about someone else forces them to face something they've been hiding. Let's go deeper. Someone who secretly loves you will often find reasons to be around you. Not in a clingy way, but in a coincidental way. You'll bump into them more often. They'll show up in places you mentioned. They'll create small moments of interaction that seem accidental, but they're not. Because when someone loves you, being near you, even for a few seconds, feels worth it. And here's something most people miss. They support you, even when it doesn't benefit them. They'll encourage you, help you, stand by you, without expecting anything in return. Because their feelings aren't transactional. But wait, this next one is powerful. They struggle to express themselves clearly around you. Normally, they might be confident, articulate. But with you, they hesitate. They overthink. Sometimes they say the wrong thing, or nothing at all. Because emotions interfere with logic. And when someone cares deeply, they become more aware of every word, every reaction, and every possible outcome. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. They notice changes in you before anyone else does. Your mood, your energy, your silence. They pick up on it instantly. And even if they don't say anything, you can feel that they know. Because when someone is emotionally connected to you, they become sensitive to your presence. Let me ask you something. Is there someone in your life who gets affected by your distance? When you pull away, do they seem off? Do they act different? That's not coincidence. That's attachment. Because your absence creates a shift in their emotional state. And here's something even deeper. They might never confess. Yes, you heard that right. Not everyone who loves you will tell you. Some people choose silence, not because they don't feel enough, but because they feel too much. Fear of rejection, fear of losing what they already have, or simply fear of changing the dynamic. So instead, they stay quiet. But silence doesn't mean absence of feeling. Sometimes it means the opposite. Now imagine this. All this time, someone has been watching you, caring about you, feeling something real. And you thought they were just being nice. That's the illusion. Because hidden love doesn't scream. It whispers. And only those who pay attention can hear it. But let's go even further. Because there's something else, something most people never talk about. The way they protect you. Not in a dramatic way, not like a scene from a movie, but quietly. They defend you when others criticize you. They correct someone who misunderstood you. They make sure you don't walk into something alone, even if you didn't ask them to. And when you're going through something hard, they don't just say, "I'm here for you." They actually show up. They check on you once, twice, 3 times. Because to them, your pain is not something they can just acknowledge and move on from. It stays with them, long after the conversation ends. That's not friendship. That's something more. Here's another thing. Pay attention to how they laugh with you. There's a difference between laughing politely and laughing because you genuinely light someone up. When someone secretly loves you, your humor, your stories, your random thoughts land differently for them. They laugh a little longer. They bring it up again later. They tell others about something funny you said, as if they're proud to know you. Because in their mind, you're not just someone they find funny. You're someone they find remarkable. And they want others to see what they see. Think about this now. Have you ever shared something personal with this person? Something vulnerable? And without judgment, they held it. They didn't minimize it. They didn't turn it into advice too quickly. They just listened. And you felt it. That specific kind of presence, where someone is fully with you, not waiting for their turn to speak. That's rare. And it doesn't happen unless someone genuinely values you. Because listening, real listening, is an act of love. Now here's one that's easy to overlook. They mirror you. Not in an obvious way, but subtly. The way they start using a phrase you use. The way they become interested in something you mentioned once. The way their habits slowly start reflecting yours. This happens below the level of awareness. It's not calculated. It's just what happens when someone is drawn to another person. We become like what we love. And without even realizing it, they start carrying small pieces of you into their everyday life. Let's talk about something painful for a moment, because this next sign might be the hardest to see. When someone loves you in silence, they celebrate your wins, even when it hurts them. Maybe you got something they wanted. Maybe you moved forward while they stayed behind. Maybe you found happiness in a direction that takes you further from them. And yet, they smile. They congratulate you. They mean it, because your happiness genuinely matters to them more than their own comfort. That kind of selfless feeling is not something you perform. You can't fake it. It comes from a place of real, unconditional care. And if you've ever had someone do that for you, don't take it lightly, because what they gave you in that moment cost them something. Here's another layer. They get nervous before seeing you. Not in an anxious, unhealthy way, but in that old-fashioned way. They think about what they'll wear. They think about what they'll say. They replay conversations in their head long before they happen. And after seeing you, they replay them again, wondering what you thought, wondering if you noticed, wondering if today they finally gave something away. Because every interaction with you carries weight for them. It's not just a conversation. It's a moment they've been both dreading and looking forward to. Now let me ask you something different. Have you ever felt inexplicably comfortable around someone? Like you don't need to perform? Like you can just be? That feeling doesn't just happen. It's created by someone who has chosen again and again to make you feel safe. And that's what someone who loves you does, even without words. They create a space where you feel like enough, where your presence is a gift, not a burden, where you don't have to explain yourself because somehow they already understand. That understanding doesn't come from observation alone. It comes from devotion, from paying attention to you the way others simply don't. And here's the thing about devotion. It leaves traces in how they talk about you, in how they talk to you, in the small sacrifices they make that you might not even notice. Staying up late to help you, changing their plans without complaint, showing up even when it's inconvenient, because for them, being there for you is never really inconvenient. It's a priority they chose, long before you ever asked. Now, let's come back to something important. The moment you start pulling back, focusing on yourself, becoming less available, that's when they feel it the most. Because now, they're faced with the possibility of losing you. And that pressure, it breaks silence. That's when confessions happen. Not when you chase, but when you step away. But here's what I want you to really understand. You don't need to manipulate the situation. You don't need to play games. Because what we're talking about here isn't strategy. It's awareness. The awareness to recognize when something real is standing right in front of you. Because sometimes in life, we go searching for connection in places far away when it's been sitting quietly, close by, patient, waiting. And we miss it, not because it wasn't there, but because we weren't looking. We were distracted by the loud things, the obvious things, when love was doing what it so often does, existing quietly in the margins. In a glance that lasted a beat too long, in a text sent just to check in a laugh shared over something small, in someone who always, somehow, ends up near you. So if this made you think of someone, pause. Really pause. Because the question isn't just, does this person love me? The deeper question is, have I been present enough to see it? Because love, real love, isn't always a grand gesture. It isn't always a confession under the rain. It isn't always a perfectly timed moment. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's patient. Sometimes it looks like just being there, over and over again, without being asked, without being thanked, without any guarantee that you'll ever feel the same. And yet, they stay. They keep showing up. They keep choosing you. In small ways, every single day. That's the kind of love that doesn't make the headlines. But it's the kind that lasts. So take a moment today. Look around at the people in your life. Not just the obvious ones. Not just the ones who are loud about their feelings. Look at the quiet ones. The consistent ones. The ones who are just always there. Because maybe, just maybe, one of them has been waiting. Not for a perfect moment. Not for the right words. Just waiting for you to notice. And when you do, everything changes. If this made you think of someone, then maybe you already know who it is. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the other videos here for more insights into psychology, attraction, and the truth people don't usually talk about. Because once you start noticing these things, you don't just understand others better, you understand yourself too. And that's where the real power begins.